Well, we pulled her out of the lineup from way over there on the other side of the bales. Here it is. Sasha dog. The tail is faster than the body. Anyways, here's the old versatile 2200 series box hoe drills. Now, lots of you guys would know what these are like or look like, and lots of you have seen me use these over the last few years. How about that? It sat all winter in transport mode the way it is right now. And none of the tires are flat and none of the tires are low on air. You think that one's low? Well, we'll check it. I didn't even bother checking it. It wasn't flat, so I pulled it out. You checked it? You pushed on it with your finger?
Yeah.
You went, I
poked it.
You poked it. So if it's low and got a leak, it's because of your fingernails.
No, I broke them.
No, I'm seeing you got. Look, see those? See those? Freaking cat claws. Right. So yeah, we gotta service this bad boy up. Yes, I do have a leaky cylinder right there. And we'll service him up and we'll get him set for the rate that we want. I sprayed it all down with oil / diesel fuel, a diesel oil mixture last fall. That's why it's so dirty down in there at the cups. And then the dust off the road just caked against everything, because we did wash it, kinda, sorta. So we should be good to go. Just got a greaser, oil all these chains, drive chains, and set it.
I have a job we have to do.
Haha.
Change tire on the auger.
Say what?
Change tire on the auger.
Why? Why? It's flat. I know. But I'm not dragging it anywhere. It can stay flat. This way somebody won't steal it. Looks all right. Okay, I'm gonna grab the grease gun and my oil squirt bottle and get to work. We'll talk to you guys later. Alrighty, we got everything greased, and while greasing, I was checking hubs. In Houston, we have a problem. I'd say the bearings are shot on this sumbitch. This could be interesting. You gotta back him off, loosen him up on this side, and then that whole tire and hub assembly fall out the bottom here on each side. So yeah, that's what we got to get, and that looks like about a 1 3/4 inch, 1 7/8, just shy of 2 inch. Could be interesting. I've got wrenches that go to 2 inch, so we'll see what happens. I'll bring you back here in a minute. So it's 1 7/8 inch. Shed some light on the situation. And from what I understand, this is like basically it's a 2-piece fucking bearing system. Like on most hubs, you'll have your inner bearing and an outer. And I guess in a sense, you got that here too, but not really. You have, if this is the outer, this is kind of like an inner, but it's like an outer also. And I've never taken one of these apart, so I have no idea what it's going to be like. No idea whatsoever, but I believe we got to get this off and this off. And then we should be able to pull the hub off, and we should be able to get the inner races, this coned fucker here. There should be a number on the face of that if I can get it off. So that's, I believe, I have no idea. Good thing I wasn't planning on seeding tomorrow, right? So yeah. Anyway, let's get this tore apart and see what we come up with. Talk to you guys later. Alrighty, guys. Well, I was back in this corner because I knew I had some spare parts for that versatile 2200 hoe drill. And I was thinking, well, maybe there was a bearing set in there, but no such luck. But what I did stumble across, see that? That thing right there? So I had a couple of those made years ago when I worked at Dutch Industry Welding. And they had a couple of guys in there that were learning how to run their laser. And they had some scrap aluminum, and they asked if there was anybody that wanted something made. So I had them made this, and they set the damn thing on there upside down. Now what this was, I had a set of mud flaps that went on my Dodge, and I wore the mud flaps out, and it was starting to wear onto the aluminum a little bit. Like that one over there, I just shined it up with a wire wheel and put it on here. I figured, well, why brand it if I got this, right? But if you look close right there, it was starting to crack and break out. So I took them off. And we don't have mud flaps on my truck, but anyways, on the old Dodge. I think it looks all right there. It's cleaned up and it's bolted on. I don't have to use a hot brand. And I got a second one that I could put on the door of the wood shack if I want. So that's what we're going to shoot for. Anywho. Okay. I'm not doing that right now. I got to go hunt for parts. The bearings on both sides, I can't find a number on any of this stuff. All it says is Timken Industries or something like that. Made in Canada, if you can believe that stuff. It's not Japan or Taiwan or China or anything like that. And so where made upside down. And that says Canada. Limited or something like that. Unless that is a number. It's hard to tell. There's Canada there. There's Timken. Not sure what that says. Oh, that's a number, by golly. Now that I got the phone on it, the camera on it, you can make out a number. See that? LM45510. What's this one say? Canada. Timmykin. Looks like 45510. Looks like they're the same. And then there's this seal. So I'll take all of this stuff into the city with me tomorrow. Both bearings are the same. I could even take the hub with me. And need an inner and an outer seal. 1625. Yeah, okay. CA. So that's different. USA on there. But I can take the hub, take all of this stuff with me into the city and find what I need. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go for tonight. We'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Alrighty, guys. Well, next day here. I got new bearings and made in the USA. Not Canada, but still North America, US of A. So I got the inner race in there on this side. That's that. And he fits in there nicely like so. But before I do that, I'm going to get the race on the other side. And then we're going to slide that friggin' shaft through the middle. Because this has to go onto here. And we got to grease the snot out of this thing. So I'm going to go to work at doing that. Greasing it really good. And I think I've got somewhere in here, I should have, right there. This is designed, this stuff, Tutela. From what I understand, if I remember correctly, when I bought this, it was specific for wheel bearings. So we'll pack them with this stuff. Talk to y'all later. Alrighty, so inner races are both in, obviously. Bearings are both in. You put this spacer on. You put your seal over the spacer on both sides, and then you slide your nuts on both sides. You tighten them up, and as you tighten them up, that's what squashes the two bearings. squashes the two bearings in and holds them in place. Now on this side, our seal is holding nice. If you can see that. This part is turning inside of the seal. But on this side, the hub must have been wore just a little bit. That the steel part of the steel that's supposed to get tight into the hub, and you see that? It's actually turning too, see? And I can't get it. I don't know what I can put in here. If I make up a bunch of washers, because this is shouldered right here, and put them on so that the flange of the washer is as big as the hub is on the outside. I don't got nothing that size here. So anyways, we're just going to have to keep an eyeball on that sucker. If it's going to be a problem, like if that seal was to work its way out over this spacer, it could come right out of the friggin' hub. Then you fill your hub full of dirt and you blow your bearings up again. That wouldn't be fun, now would it? Anywho, she's about ready to get a tire put on it and get slipped back into position. So now you see that? He goes on this way. That one's the same way. See that? It's got a little shoulder to it. And I'll show you what that's all about here right away. I'm going to spray both those bastards. Yeah, we'll use this one. I got two things going here. Fluid film and deep creep for rust. And that bugger is kind of rusty, but since it's off, the fluid film should work for us. Leave them like that so it runs around. Anyways, so why is that those two nuts shouldered the way they are? When you set them, when you go to put it, install it back into this framework, that shouldered nut has to fit inside this hole. That's why it is the way it is. That way you've got it centered just right. That's the idea anyways. Alrighty, I'm gonna let you go while I get the tire on the hub, and then we'll bring you back once we're putting it into that framework. Alrighty, I came up with an idea. Whether it's gonna work or not, I don't know. But see this thing here? That's the old seal. So the steel part of the seal, I'll show you with the other old one. This part of the seal is smaller than the shoulder, so it'll, when it's pulled all the way out, so to speak, when it's out like that, all the way around, the inner seal, which isn't seating 110%, it's turning in there, it still can't come out. So it should, with all the grease I packed in here, and I used half of that tube in this hub, with all the grease that's packed in there, it should, since the inner seal can't come out, what I'm trying to say is it should still stop any dirt from getting inside. That's what I'm trying to say. Hopefully this is better than what it was before, because before the new seal would be able to come work its way all the way out potentially, and you'd have that big gap, and you'd fill everything right full of dirt. Anywho, later. Alrighty. Sorry I didn't bring you along and show you how it slips into each other right there, but when you're trying to work an actual jackal, one of the most dangerous tools on my farm is a friggin' jackal, and maneuver the tire and hub so it does get in there. And I don't got a holder for the cam. I apologize, but it's in. So the next thing to explode will be this tire. Yeah, he's not in the greatest of condition, but whatever. So we're basically ready to pull this sucker out to the field, and because he's ready to get put to work now. So yeah. Anyways, we just gotta fill the cheap man's grain trailer. Yes, I'm using the dump trailer to carry my seed because I don't got a drill fill for that thing, and I'm not using a friggin' grain auger to try filling each individual box. It's easier in my situation to use a pencil auger, which is electric. I gotta fix this though. Ugh. Talk about leaving everything to the last minute, right? What's broken? Well, the cord pulled out. So we gotta get the cord rewound for the rope pull. That's what's broken. So it shouldn't be that big a deal. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. We'll talk to you later.